Quantum leaders, the catalyst, the preconscious flow of reality. The catalyst's natural style, impulsive, instinctual, and change-triggering, rarely operates through linear logic. They don't always know why they act when they do. They simply feel the edge, sense the moment, and strike. This instinct isn't accidental. It's preconscious leadership in motion. Through the quantum principle of the preconscious flow of reality, the catalyst gains clarity on their deepest gift, their ability to detect the system's need before the system itself knows it. They are reading cues below language, behind behavior, beneath time. Their knowing is faster than thought, not irrational, but field responsive. Their transformation begins when they trust this flow and learn to honor it without overrunning it. With a motivation direction of away from, the catalyst instinctively moves to avoid stagnation. But the warning signs they respond to are rarely verbal or visual. They are felt. A room suddenly goes flat. A meeting starts with hollow energy. A silence holds too much tension. These are not anomalies. They're preconscious signals. When the catalyst learns to slow down and register the signal fully before acting, their interventions become timed not from reactivity, but from field attunement. Their attention focus on others gives them sensitivity to energetic shifts. But what they notice is often nonverbal. A breath held too long, a hesitation before someone speaks, a shift in posture that echoes a deeper resistance. These aren't tells, they're invitations. When the catalyst honors them instead of bulldozing past them, their leadership becomes surgical, not chaotic. With an external frame of reference, they track the outer world closely, but their actions often precede clear evidence. The preconscious flow doesn't wait for data. It speaks in hunches, flashes, and somatic urges. A sudden need to ask a question. A word that arrives out of nowhere. A mood that shifts the moment they enter the room. When the catalyst learns to stay with these signals long enough to feel their direction, they move from impulsive to precise. Their options-based operational style thrives in change. But some shifts arrive uninvited, like a drop in atmosphere or a spontaneous creative download. These are not distractions. They are early truth forms. The mature catalyst learns to hold the arrival before converting it into a next step. Their discipline isn't in execution. It's in listening to what wants to emerge before deciding what to do with it. Their general viewpoint gives them access to high-level patterns. But sometimes what they feel doesn't match what's visible. A team that looks aligned feels off. A conversation that seemed fine leaves a weird residue. This is field intelligence. When the catalyst names it gently, without judgment, they often surface the truth before the symptoms even appear. Their perception becomes relational medicine. With a proximity work preference, they are often immersed in human systems. But that immersion heightens their sensitivity to energy. The preconscious doesn't speak in words. It speaks in tone, pace, temperature, breath. A shift in the field might ask them not to speak, but to stay. Not to act, but to hold space. The catalyst refines when they recognize that not all activation looks like movement. Their emotional engagement is associated. They feel it all, often too soon. But the emotions they carry aren't just theirs. They're transmissions. A flash of anger, an unexpected wave of sadness, a sudden lightness. These may not reflect their own state. They may be the system's voice speaking through them. When the catalyst learns to differentiate and transmute, they become a tuning fork for change, not a sponge. As mismatchers, they are designed to catch what doesn't fit. But what doesn't fit often speaks first through discomfort or curiosity, not critique. When the catalyst follows that signal inward, what about this feels out of step? They find new paths without needing to explode the old ones. Their timing gets cleaner. Their resistance becomes curiosity-driven redirection. Their in-time orientation means they operate in the now. But the preconscious lives just before now. It whispers before the moment arises, a phrase they almost say, a gesture they almost make. When the catalyst cultivates just enough stillness to catch what's coming a breath ahead, their leadership feels fated, not forced. And with a primary drive of activity, they feel best in motion. But if they move before the signal is fully formed, their actions scatter. When they learn to pause at the very moment the impulse strikes, not to suppress it, but to feel it more deeply, they act from alignment, not adrenaline. Their movement becomes the delivery of a deeper rhythm. In this lens, the catalyst is revealed not as chaotic, but tuned. Their gift is not thinking faster, it's feeling sooner. When they trust the preconscious field, they begin to arrive at the future just before it becomes visible to anyone else. And when they speak or act from that knowing, clear, clean, and calibrated, the system listens. Because it's been waiting for someone to say what it already knew was coming. Quantum leaders, the catalyst, you are the tipping point. The catalyst's natural style, dynamic, daring, and wired for momentum, is often seen as the spark that starts change, but not always as the one who finishes it. Yet under the quantum principle, you are the tipping point, a profound reframe emerges. The catalyst doesn't just begin the movement, they are the moment the movement begins to tip. In systems overwhelmed by avoidance, stagnation, or passive consensus, it is often the catalyst's decision to act, to name, to disrupt, with intention, that shifts the field from pressure to release. They are not a supporting character in transformation. They are the signal that change is no longer optional. With a motivation direction of away from, the catalyst instinctively pushes against what no longer works. But when that push is calibrated, when it comes with clarity, not chaos, it becomes the hinge moment others were silently waiting for. A gentle call-out, a brave truth, a pattern broken on purpose. These aren't outbursts, they're pivot points. The system begins to organize differently because the catalyst moved first. Their attention focus on others allows them to sense discomfort, tension, and what's being avoided. But sensing alone isn't leadership. When the catalyst chooses to act on the sensing, to say the thing, ask the disruptive question, initiate the shift, the field turns. Others catch the courage. Movement begins. They aren't responding to the group's readiness, they're initiating it. With an external frame of reference, they track feedback quickly. But the tipping point doesn't wait for confirmation. The catalyst leads when they trust the moment before it's affirmed, when they act not because it's safe, but because it's true enough to be spoken. Their willingness to go first resets what others thought was possible. Their options-based operational style means they can see many paths. But tipping points require commitment. The catalyst's power arises when they stop surveying possibilities and say, let's go this way. Not forever, just far enough to shift momentum. Their clarity becomes the directional force the group didn't know it needed. Their general viewpoint lets them understand the system, but understanding isn't enough. Tipping points require action that alters the emotional temperature. When the catalyst makes a well-timed intervention, a reframe, a risk, a line drawn, the energy coheres. What was scattered becomes directional. What was theoretical becomes now. With a proximity work preference, they're often at the center of team energy. But the tipping point isn't in being present, it's in how they show up. When they bring grounded urgency, speak the unspeakable with care, or disrupt the silence with presence, the collective shifts. Their arrival is not just physical, it's energetic permission. Their emotional engagement is associated. They feel urgency as an inner imperative. But tipping points don't require emotional flooding. They require emotional clarity. When the catalyst chooses to channel intensity into one sentence, one pause, one act of bold timing, they give others something solid to reorganize around. Their presence becomes the axis of change. As mismatchers, they instinctively challenge what's not working. But the tipping point comes when that challenge is embodied in action. When the catalyst moves from critique to choice, this doesn't work, and here's what we're doing instead, they collapse inertia. Their refusal becomes a redesign. Their dissent becomes the first draft of what comes next. Their in-time orientation helps them sense urgency. But tipping points aren't always loud. They're perfectly timed. A whisper when others escalate. A pause when others push. A bold invitation just before the group gives up. The catalyst's mastery is revealed when they sense the break line and step in with just enough charge to flip the system. And with a primary drive of activity, they thrive in movement. But sometimes, the tipping point is not the action, it's the restraint. Holding steady while others collapse, waiting until the silence is unbearable before naming the truth. The catalyst learns that even their non-action can initiate a cascade. Their stillness can be as catalytic as their fire. In this frame, the catalyst stops trying to convince people that change is needed. They realize their choice is the invitation. Their movement, if timed, clear, and aligned, is the tipping point itself. They no longer push for revolution. They become the moment that evolution begins. When they act with presence and purpose, systems shift, not because they forced it, but because everything was already leaning. They simply said yes first.